So welcome back to another episode. Welcome back to another Kim.
Hello.
And this is not a different Kim. This is my same wife that I've been with for 6 years. We're celebrating nearly our 10-year anniversary. It's coming up.
Yeah.
And we wanted to talk a little bit about kind of our first time dating and kind of getting along playing video games. And how it wasn't, we weren't on the same wavelength at first. Not at all. So when I first met you, you were kind of adamant that you didn't like, you didn't like video games, you didn't like science fiction movies. You're like, I don't like that stuff.
I was very against it.
But why?
I don't know. I just didn't think it was cool.
Yeah, like Kim was still a little bit younger then. I think you thought, oh, that's geeky or something.
Yeah, I think it was in my mindset. Like a lot of people back in the day would be like, that's nerd stuff.
Even though you secretly were reading Harry Potter.
Well, and a bit of True Blood. And,
oh my god! All the vampire
Twilight,
stuff.
Yeah,
No. Thank God you met me.
Oh yes, you saved me.
But do you know what? I was talking to you back. I remember telling you back then. I said, "Well, have you ever played like any video games, any role playing games?" And you're like, "I played Fable."
I played Fable.
Like I was like,
what? Xbox? No, it'd be on the 360.
No, it was on the original Xbox. The original Fable was on the original Xbox. Then Fable 2 came on the Xbox 360.
See, I was like totally didn't know anything.
You didn't really care.
I didn't care.
I didn't care. It didn't matter. It's just like something you did.
Yeah, there's no passion for video games.
Yeah. You played Donkey Kong and enjoyed it back
then.
in the day.
Yeah, Donkey Kong was my game, and so was Diddy Kong Racing and things, and obviously Mario.
Yeah.
And Tetris.
Yeah.
But I wasn't like a gamer that I am now, and how much I appreciate video games than back then.
Yeah, so. Back then it didn't really, it was just kind of take it or leave it type of thing.
Yeah, pretty much.
And I remember like you kind of were looking at all my stuff. Okay, so here's a question. I'm putting you on the spot. What did you think when you first came over here and saw the video games?
Oh no.
What, really? Yeah.
I was like, oh no, what is this? You told me you had a show and you would review video games, and I'm like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So, well, it's interesting from a girl's point of view, and this idea is that you were just interested in me, the guy. You didn't really. This was just like this is what came with it, kind of thing.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, isn't that fascinating?
I was attracted to you.
Right, right, and you're like, I guess I got to deal with this stuff, and so we were on a different kind of wavelength in the beginning.
Yeah.
And then one night, so what happened is we used to work together.
Yes.
And nobody knew we worked together. We had to keep that a secret because I was, anyway, I was Kim's kind of boss at the time. But I gave Kim no special treatment either.
No, he didn't, and that was so mean of you.
No.
I still sometimes think back, like, you used to put me in places where it was so hot and sweaty, and I'm like, what are you doing?
That sounds like a sex thing. No, we worked in a warehouse together.
Yes, and then he would scare me in the stacks.
Yeah,
it wasn't cool.
Yeah, I know. It was fun.
Or when you called me over the intercom. Intercom? Like, Kim, please call 70 something or whatever.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I'd be like, oh god.
So I remember how the weekends worked is that we would hang out on the weekends.
When we started dating. Yeah, I'd always come over here on the weekends.
Yeah, so we saw each other for a bit, and we weren't like, it was kind of on again, off again. It was kind of casual type of thing.
Serious.
Not too serious. Yeah. And then you started coming over, spending the weekends, like every weekend.
Yeah.
And I remember, okay, so here's my memory is that I remember sitting here one Friday night, and I had just picked up Bayonetta, the very first one, by Platinum Games. And I was sitting here playing it on my 360, and I was like, this is absolutely amazing. Yeah. And then you came over, and I texted you and said, oh, the door's open. And you came in, put your bag in. And then I remember you came in, and you just sat down. And you're like, oh, what's this? And it was just like, it was such a wild game, right?
It was so different.
So different.
Obviously, compared to what I was used to watching.
Right.
I was blown away. I think the first reaction was, wow.
Yeah. And just seeing the character.
Like.
She's got guns and high heels and stuff. It's like, it's over the top.
It was over the top, and I was like, oh, this is what we're doing. But that was probably the first time I really sat down and watched somebody play a video game.
Right.
Other than watching my neighbors play Zelda.
Yeah, Ocarina of Time.
That. But that was probably the real time that I would sit down and watch you play.
Right.
And we spent all night.
I remember we actually had it's a small bonding moment. I think it was helping bridge the gap. This is John from the future coming back into the past just to edit this in. I just wanted to say, a little bit after this, when we were first hanging out, Kim started to look like Bayonetta. I don't know if it was intentional, if it was just me, but she started to look like the character, and I thought that was so funny. I had to throw that in. But it wasn't until we were dating and we're like, oh, let's go and see a movie.
Yes.
And we're like, and I remember there's a girl at work who was reading Scott Pilgrim, the graphic novels.
Yes.
And she was like, so I remember going out every day and she was like out reading them.
Oh.
And I remember, this sounds so terrible. I remember going, oh my God, what are you reading? That looks so stupid.
Yeah, the art in it.
Yeah, it was like, it threw you off at first, right? Like, is this a child's thing?
Yeah.
Like, what is this? And so I was like, okay. And I realized that Scott Pilgrim was becoming a big phenomenon. It was a big deal. And all of a sudden, the movie was coming out. And I'm like, do you want to go and see it? And you're like, yeah.
Yeah, sure.
We didn't know what to expect.
I think that's what it was. I didn't know what it was going to be about.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Like.
And we went to the theater. We sat down and it started, and just that music kicked in, and then just all the references to video games, and it was so. I can't believe this is gonna make me sound dated. It was so hip.
It was so hip and happening.
It was so modern and cool, and with it, and I mean. It was an incredibly well-made movie.
I loved it.
So funny, so witty, so brilliant.
Yes.
So I loved the action, the comedy. Oh my God, and I know some people out there do not like it, but it's a 10 out of 10 movie for me.
It's a 10 out of 10, yeah, no, I loved it. It's one of those top movies that I really enjoy.
Yeah, I remember we watched it in the theater and we were both like, whoa. And we walked out and we were like, that was fucking
I think it was
amazing.
refreshing, too.
Yeah, it was refreshing.
It was something different. It was a totally different storyline to be watching.
And we hadn't read the comic or anything, so it was like, whoa, we're just blown away. And I love Edgar Wright.
Oh, he's such a good director.
And then a few years later, when the Blu-ray came out, one of my friends came into Hard Times and he sold me his Blu-ray of Scott Pilgrim, and he got it signed by Edgar Wright and also Knives. And I also believe the creator of Scott Pilgrim is on there as well. I think so. I think he signed it. So they're really cool to get that. It's from my friend Jay Hooft. Thank you, Jay.
Thanks, Jay.
Love having it. Love having this so much. And that was a big deal. And now the next big deal was I had heard that there was going to be a downloadable game on the Xbox 360 called Scott Pilgrim. And I'm like, what? Yeah. A Scott Pilgrim video game?
Yes.
And so I said, hey, are you interested in playing this? Would you want to do this? And do you like the movie so much?
Yeah, no, you're like, it's a two-player game. We can both play together. And I'm like, sure, why not? Let's give it a try. My God. How long did we sit there?
So many hours.
So many hours. Like, we were just leveling up and just, it
finding things over and over.
It was good. Like, the graphics was fun. I mean, it really held up to the comic book.
Yeah. It had that kind of look.
Cute. Yeah, it was really cute. And to the movie, too.
Yeah.
It had a lot of good spots in the movie, like, obviously.
Yeah, from the movie. And it also had that kind of graphical look of 16-bit, 32-bit games.
Yes.
And I gotta say, I have such fond memories. And I wish I could play the music, but I can't because I know it's copyrighted. I love the music. It takes me back to that time when we sat up all night, because we used to work the late shift.
Late shift, yeah.
So we would actually stay up all night till like 5 in the morning.
Yeah.
So we had till 5 in the morning playing Scott Pilgrim, like every single night. It was just absolutely amazing. And now here's something that you don't know, and you'll be like, what? This is ridiculous. That the game is on the Xbox 360.
Yes.
Years ago, they stopped it from being downloaded anymore. So you can't download it anymore for licensing. So, okay, get this. You can't buy a physical copy of the game. It does not exist. It was download only.
Okay.
So it's the biggest load of shit in the world. On that 360 is the only place I have it. And I transferred it over from another Elite that died.
Yeah.
And so I keep transferring it over and over because there's no way to download it. And it's one of the things that bothers me the most in life. I'm actually really angry about that. I wish there could be a physical copy.
Yeah,
I wish they could resolve these things and bring this out so we could all play it. Everybody should have this game. It's absolutely
so much fun.
I would love it on the Nintendo Switch, on the PS4.
That would be wicked.
That'd be wicked. That'd be so great. And just to kind of have that memory where I always feel like I'm just going to lose it. It's just gonna lose it, and me and Kim are gonna play the game afterwards and just capture some footage again and kind of relive some kind of memories of good old Scott Pilgrim. And then obviously after that we got into Dragon Quest IX. We've talked about that quite a few times. And
got my own copy.
Yeah, I got my own copy, and many hours playing this, and that was our bonding. And
that was definitely.
I remember sitting down one day and we watched gangster movies all day.
Oh my god!
Like Boys in the Hood, and
that's why I told you about the leveling up area where you got the red knight and the 2 heel slimes, and we just sat there
leveling up all day.
All day, man.
And we watched 5 movies on the TV, all gangster movies from the 90s.
Awesome.
So like New Jack City and all that stuff. Yeah. And all we did was level up in Dragon Quest, and so much fun. And then the funny thing is, before we came to do this episode, I know we're wearing matching jackets. It's a bit of a laugh for us. We thought it was so funny. Yeah. But we're wearing matching T-shirts. And this is. Does anybody recognize the artist here? This is Leiji Matsumoto. He did the artwork for Daft Punk's.
Yes.
Interstellar 5555. It was an anime music video, and it was one of those things that we wanted to put on our shirts for this. Is that I remember when I got on Blu-ray for my birthday one year, and we sat drinking all night watching it.
We were drinking wine.
We were drinking wine. Oh my god!
Wine.
Yeah, and it's so funny that you went to bed that night, and I sat up all night rewatching it, drinking. No, drinking, yeah. And I was just like, and I know it sounds funny, but it wasn't a drinking thing. I was kind of like hypnotized. I was in this real state of mind that I can't kind of describe to anybody, where I'm like, I'm going to propose to this girl. I want Kim 100% in my life, and I watched this all night, and all the music always reminds me of that.
Yeah.
And I remember I kept drinking, and I get higher and higher, knowing I'm like, oh my god, I'm going to propose to somebody. It was like a big deal. Obviously I'd never done that before.
No.
And it was like, and I was going to do it, and it was like, oh my god, I'm going to do it. And then that week I went out and got the ring, and I was like, oh my god, so exciting. So excited. But wanted to come in and talk about our early times playing video games together. And also another thing is that when people meet, I just want to be not preachy, but say a little something here, is that you don't always get along and see eye to eye, and you're not always 100% on everything. Me and Kim took years to get to know each other.
It did.
And you into my hobbies, me into yours, into an appreciation of all the different things we are to each other. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. It's not an instant like, oh my god. Some people have that, where it's a head over heels in love to begin with, and we had that, the intensity to begin with, but we got to know each other, and then things became better.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of how it worked.
I agree.
Absolutely. So, guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode of looking back and some of our dating. Tell us how you and some of your, partners out there got together and started dating for the first time. So, anyways, guys, until next time.